Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon, it's anime!
I'm dehydrated. Welcome to another episode.
No, you try that again, Keenan. You try that again.
You want to do a re-power up?
No, a re-welcome.
Welcome to another episode. Oh, Animeshun. The squad is back, y'all. Myself, Brennan, Ice, Rob. We are here, man. Last week we had our 100th episode. I hope y'all joined us for that. Yeah, I know. I just threw that in there.
We old.
We had a special guest. Yeah, we getting old out here, man. We hit the century mark. We had a special guest last week, Quincy Q. She was amazing. We reviewed Berserk, one of the movies. And so make sure you go check that out.
Have we taken like what's the longest amount of time we've been off? Like to having without an episode?
It was like maybe
like a couple weeks, something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I think when COVID first hit, I think we took like 2 weeks off, maybe.
Yeah. So that's 100 episodes with only taking a 2-week break. That's one of the many reasons why.
It's a great transition.
That was great.
We're the greatest fucking anime podcast in the entire world.
That was literally like a Chris Paul type lob to Blake Griffin when they were on the Clippers together. That's what that was.
City, yeah.
That was just lob city out. Like, no look.
And they never won a championship.
No, so you don't do that. Be optimistic, you asshole.
What? They didn't. That team is over. That's never going to happen again.
That's true.
That team is over. The Clippers with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan will never win a championship because they never did.
No. I feel bad because I lobbed that up so nice and you batted that shit down.
Because when you said Lob City, I was like, I'd rather go with like Zach LaVine or something like that because he actually won and he lobbed it to himself. So,
but Zach LaVine is on a losing team.
Yeah, but he won the dunk contest.
He won a dunk contest.
He won some. He won some.
So did Blake Griffin. We can go there. What are you talking about?
He did win. He did win.
Yeah. Anyways, this week we're going to be reviewing again Blades of Immortal episodes. Where we at? 17 to 20. Yes, I've been saying a lot. Sorry, I said dehydrated. 17 to 20, man. And these episodes right here, man.
We getting Chaz on the show, right? The
last one.
Okay.
I'm gonna have
Chaz. The reason why we just brought up Chaz is a comedian that all of us know, and Chaz is the one who was the strongest recommendation to Keenan for us to watch this dumpster fire of an anime, and so I'm really eager to see how he defends what it is we're about to review. That's it. That's all I had to say. That was it.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm taking the L for this regardless, but
Keenan, no, like I think Rob made a good point. I don't think we have to like make it W's and L's about our picks anymore. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make the anime. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't.
Everybody wins a trophy is this?
Nah, I'm not. The thing is, it's not even a competition, is what I'm saying. Like it's like you picked it because you thought it was good. That's fine. But you didn't make this anime and you didn't see it before. Now, if you had seen it before and you had picked this and said this is something we need to see, like Chaz did, then we'd have a misunderstanding. But for me, you haven't seen it. You took a risk. Chaz done seen it. Chaz gets the smoke.
No, because that takes all of the wind out of it. Like, we have to give each other shit. That's a staple point of this show. If you're gonna take
man, come on. Roger Ebert didn't get an L for watching Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. Like, we're a review show. We fucking watched it.
He watched it, but he didn't recommend it. It's different if you already taking
After all this, doesn't sound like any of us are going to recommend that shit either.
But he took it upon he took upon himself to do it. He to watch it. He could have just been like, "Nah, I'm good." Like, if it was great,
Our basement needed better pavement.
Yeah, man. You got to build the strong foundation. You got to build
Our
a strong
foundation of
foundation.
what we launched from needs stronger.
But that's still his L. That's still his L. It would be if I took it, that would have been my L too. Like I got Goblin Slayer was recommended to me. That's still my L. I still have to hold that. Like,
I mean, until this is finished, I know. Yeah, we got some surprises for y'all coming up soon after Blaze of the Immortal. But until then. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm a G about it. Like
I'm sitting in my L.
Yeah, I'll catch all fades and take this down, and I'm not tripping on it.
Yeah, let's try to make sense of this, Rob. Like, do you know what really happened?
I don't even think the show knows what happened.
I don't. I basically just rewatched like all the episodes today to try and get my notes for this. So yeah, it's still pretty fresh, but I'll run through it. So we picked up from last time. Rin was going off on her own in the dungeons down beneath Edo Castle, trying to do her rescue mission with Doa, trying to get Isaku and Manji back. But now Rin's on her own, and she basically jumps out on these three doctors. They're just like, man, there's some like crazy shit going on down here. And she's just like, she takes the keys and just, running through, letting everybody out. And she finds Manji, but it's Barando, the doctor that's been torturing everybody, is there like right away. She's trying to talk to Manji, and Manji's not even waking up. So we don't know if like he's asleep or like if he's injured or what. But as soon as Barando like grabs her and is just like, hey, stay away from him, she beats the shit out of this dude, like knocks him around a bit.
She finally gives somebody hands. Like, she gave him hands too, like literally hands. Like she didn't have a weapon on her, so she just literally just like was kneeing him and chopping him. And he's a doctor, that's why he had to call my man to like chop up people's limbs and do all this other kind of shit because he's not about this hands life. So
he doesn't moonlight as a karate kid.
He does not. He does not. Because this handless woman in general is whooping his ass.
Yeah. But after she beats him, Manji does wake up and is just like, oh, yeah, like I didn't know whether to believe what I was seeing. I'm sure he's been down there like fucking losing his mind a little bit. Wasn't sure if it was real, but he's kind of says to her like, oh, like you look so mature, like standing up for yourself. I didn't even think it was really you. But she fills him in about
and she says the corniest line.
What did she say?
She was like, you never heard that saying that a woman can change a lot in 3 days?
Yo, yeah, that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
What? What are you talking about? Nobody says that.
I've never heard that before.
Nobody.
Maybe it's a Japanese thing?
No.
Maybe it's an old proverb from back then. That's all I can think.
Confucius say?
Even Manji was like, I have never heard that bullshit. Like, what are you talking about?
Manji's like, I have lived for 300 years and I ain't never.
You got to make up your own philosophies, man. That's the only way this works.
He said you've been living 300 years, and in 300 years, I mean, it's never happened. What are you talking about? 300 years of life, I've never heard any of that nonsense. Get out of here.
Never. But she fills him in. Yeah, she definitely drops that corny line. I was just like, all right, whatever. But she's just like, yeah, I'm down here with Doa. But Manji's just like, I don't know how we're going to get out of here. And then she hits him with another corny line of just like, now that we're together,
nothing can stop us. Yeah.
Nothing can stop us. And he smiles at that.
She's like, thanks for reminding me about this shit. Let's get it cracking. And then look who shows up.
Yeah. And then Kagehisa's right there. But outside the prison, all those like prisoners that Rin let free are all like running towards the gate. Like it's almost a straight up riot at this point. They're all just trying to get the hell out of there. And the doctors that she attacked are just kind of like, hey, should we like, do something about this? And they're like, nah, fuck it. Like, I don't really like doing this work anyway. Like, let's get out of here before they figure out it was us that gave up the keys. But yeah, Kagemura shows up. Sorry, not Kagehisa. Kagemura shows up and is just like, I don't want to have to dirty, my blade with the blood of a woman, but you kind of put me in this position, so here we go. Manji's.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Manji's just like, all you need to do is just get me an opening, and that's what she's trying to do here.
Dog. an opening, she just goes to work. I think she just took it upon herself. Like, she was just like, fuck this.
She's I'm about to kill this guy. Like,
Yeah, I'm about to kill this dude. Yeah, goes in the air, pretty much tries to, like, you know.
She throws the gunpowder on him or whatever that is, and then like lights her little
Blades on fire.
Blades on fire, and then throws him, and then they catch him on fire. And my man is unfazed. He is just like, oh, that was impressive.
This is her best. Like, this is her best 5 minutes out of this whole story, and it still equates to nothing.
No, the doctor still took the hand. The doctor still got his ass beat.
Oh yeah. But this is her greatest 5 minutes, and he's just like, nah, fam. He's like,
but it actually equated to something really big because he wouldn't have been distracted because Manji ends up throwing something in dude's eye and takes his eye out, and he ends up finding out that it's the dude the first guy that was in there with him. They're trying to swap body parts with. It was something that I think his wife had gave him to hold on to.
Yeah.
And I think that was real big. I think if she doesn't do that doesn't happen.
He kept it in his throat.
I was about to ask y'all. He didn't specify where he kept it.
He does in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see you're implying he like keistered it or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, when do you keep stuff in prison? When you gotta hide a cell phone?
He also said it was in a space that anesthesia was gonna be. That was all over.
Yeah, he got saturated with anesthesia because Kagemura is just like, oh, you took my eye, whatever. Like he still wants to fight, so he charges
how
him.
How gangsta is that? He's just like, oh, you took my eye. That don't even mean shit. I don't need an eye to chop you down.
Keenan, I just like to call everybody time out. I like to call it time out. Are we still allowed to use the word gangsta as a good thing? Like Keenan just did?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Because of the anime?
I feel like that anime may have taken it away from us. Just a side thought.
That was fire. That was tough. That was hard.
Don't let gangsta win, man. That's how we lose.
Yeah.
I'm still hurt. I still have a little shell shock. I apologize. Please continue.
From Gangsta?
Yes.
Still absorbing it?
What was that, like 8 months ago? 9 months ago?
So
that was actually a year ago. That was like over a year ago.
Every time you think about that show, it doesn't hurt.
Never forget.
All the time you watched it.
You know what? I'm trying to figure out.
Did you hear it, Rob? Never forget. Ice.
You know what sucks is every time I hop on Hulu, it's the first thing that pops up, and I'm trying to figure out.
And it hurts, doesn't it? You're just like, why would you do this?
Why is this not in the horror category?
Yeah. But Kagemura does charge him, and Manji just like holding him off with his chain. Just, please don't just try to hold him off.
I want this chain to hold for once.
Yeah. Just hold him off because all he's trying to do is hold him off because what he reveals now is Kagemura starting to get a little sleepy is that, where he was keeping that needle, wherever it was, keistered or otherwise, it was saturated in the anesthesia that they had been
got a little fecal matter in your eye now, huh? You can get pink eye too.
But Kagemura does end up passing out from the poison, and they're like, all right, cool, let's get out of here. And then they turn to escape, and then Yamada, the dude the beheader, and his big guy are right there, and this big guy rips open the bars and is like, all right, boss, you can come through, and the dude's just steps in through the fucking wide open door I'm good.
Is that their attempt at comedy?
Yeah, right? What a weird time to try to throw that in. But Yamada's like, yeah, I'm here. Tells his men to get Kagemura out of there. And he's about to go in because Manji's still chained to the wall. He's like, all right, let's do this.
Remember, he only got one arm. At this point, he got one arm free because she ended up chopping off one arm at that point. And he ended up healing that arm.
Which I feel like they could have done something a lot smarter and easier than that.
Well, you got an immortal motherfucker who's used to getting cut every day now. It's whatever, just cut my arm off. It's good.
But usually
they could have just sliced down the middle of the chains or something like that. I feel like they could have did something a lot smarter than that.
I'm surprised they didn't just break his hand. You see that in movies. If somebody's handcuffed, they'll dislocate their thumb or something and slip out. They couldn't do that. But yeah, it was a little extra. But yeah, so they're facing off against Yamada and his big guy. When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the big dude gets yanked back by his fucking collar because Doa and Asaku, who is not dead, show up on the scene and just start going to town.
Let me just say, I love Doa, man. I don't know how y'all feel about her, but she's
the only character I care about.
To me, in general, the women in this show, the women, at least fighters anyways, they're the dopest in this show.
Yeah.
There's some of the dopest. There's another moment we'll get to later on, but there's some of the dopest in the show.
I agree with that.
But Doa and Isaku are there, and Doa kind of explains, like, I just couldn't leave Isaku there, just kind of mangled like that. So I kind of brought his two pieces together, and he just healed, I guess, from the experiment. And this is kind of crazy because nobody else, as far as we can tell, was able to heal from a mortal wound after the experiments. Like everybody.
No. When she was entering the space, she was giving those zombie dudes mortal wounds, and they were healing, weren't they?
Yeah, but they were like zombies. Like they didn't have like any. They were kind of like brainless.
Remember, he said something about like they're pretty much brainless. Yeah,
but Isaku is still Isaku. So this is like basically they created another Manji here, and I was kind of surprised they didn't take a moment. Like the doctor wasn't like, "Oh shit!" Like it worked or something like that.
Nothing.
So I was a little surprised.
I don't think you have time for that. I think everybody's getting that work put in on them right now. I don't think somebody's sitting there. They're like, hold on a second, y'all. I did.
I would agree with that if they literally brought it up any other time, but it never gets brought up after this moment, which is kind of weird to me. But anyway,
at least for another 3 episodes.
But they go back and forth. They're fighting. But Doa is actually facing off against Yamada, which is a pretty cool like matchup at first. Like, she gets some like glancing blows on him, and her iron helm saves her for like a second until Yamada's got some like secret word that he whispers to his sword, and it just cuts right through
the metal, which is crazy.
It's
cut through metal.
Why don't you just say that at the beginning of your fight?
With iron, why would he say what?
Why don't he just say whatever he said? He should have just said it initially. Like, you say that when you about to fight, like, so you good throughout the whole fight instead of like, oh, I need you now, like, and then cut through.
Man, it's anime, fans. Like, it's like I don't power up all the way in the beginning of a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Stupid.
Energy efficiency, I guess. But he cuts right through, and she does have a little blood drawn, but kind of surprisingly after that, she seems fine.
Right.
We don't see any blood on her head after that.
Which is ridiculous. Like, you cut through the metal helmet, but not the skull.
Weird.
Yeah,
they do that a couple times.
I'm guessing. What I was guessing was that the blade was whatever was like an on switch or off switch. I don't know if it cut through. It was just for the cut through iron, and then it stopped after it cut through the iron, and then I don't know. But it's something seemed a little bit weird because it was shaking the whole time, and then it wasn't shaking after that.
Yeah, I guess it stopped when it got to bone. I'm not really sure, but Yamada's big guy is fighting Isaku, and Isaku's, they're kind of like evenly matched. Like, they're kind of trading some blows. When all of a sudden, like, they all get distracted because a ton of water just starts rushing into the dungeon. And Manji takes that opportunity to just basically cold clock Yamada, just like punches him out. And at that point, Rin, who had just gotten her sword back from Doa, gives it to Manji, who obviously is going to be way better with the sword than her, arguably.
But still not, arguably.
But Doa and Isaku, this was another moment where they shined. There's some guards waiting outside, and the two of them just team up and just kind of cut them all down, while Manji and Yamada continue to clash. And then during that fight, Manji appears to land what looks like a killing blow on Yamada. It looks like he stabs him like right in the neck after Isaku knocks out his bodyguard. And seeing that, the rest of the guards are like, "Well, fuck that, I'm out of here." And they just they
like a 4-shot, like G. Peace.
Which was cool. I like it. That's probably the best thing over these last 4 episodes is like the direction.
Yeah. But Brando at that point is coming to and kind of seeing this is all falling around him, and he's just like, basically like, all my work for nothing. And Manji hits him with the Leonidas speech to the deformed dude from 300, who's just like, I hope you live forever. I hope you're like haunted by your sins. Like, you deserve all this. But before they can get out, they're hit with another wave of water. This one
just kept piling on and on.
Yeah, this one sweeps Doa out. Even though everybody else seems to be like, just up to like their waist or whatever.
Remember, she's real tiny and she's a child.
She's small. I didn't think she was that small, but she gets swept out of there. Like, she's down the hallway. And Isaku, who at that point was like, oh, let me cut those chains, Manji. As soon as he sees Doa's like swept, he's like, I gotta go. So he's gone. And it's just Manji and Rin now left. And they're about to try and chop off his arm again when Manji gets pulled under and Yamada emerges. He's just like, ha ha! I was fooling you the whole time, just playing again, waiting for my opportunity.
Well, he didn't pull him under. He cut off his leg.
Oh, that's right.
All you see is a foot just hit the top of the water. That's what I thought was hilarious. You just see a foot float up. Oh, shit. I ain't done yet.
Yeah, he comes up and he's just like, I was just holding my breath, waiting for my moment to strike. But they clash again. Basically cuts off Manji's one-chained arm. So he's now free at that point. And he manages to take the chain and wrap it around Yamada's neck, pinch it off with that little pin again, and just tells Rin to crank the chain.
Yeah.
And they end up cranking him up on the wall and hanging him there. And again, they're about to leave when another wave of water comes crashing through the wall. And just at this point, they're all just swept underwater. We kind of lose track of each other. Manji's arm starts to drift away from him. And he's like, hey, can you go get that? Rin's about to go grab it. Rin's about to go grab it when somebody else picks it out of the water, and she looks up, and it's Renzo, the kid of the mask maker that she had tried to spare from this life of vengeance, from this violent circle, but he apparently met up with Shira, and Shira told him that Manji's still out there, and he can help him get his revenge for the guy that killed his father. So they take his arm, and as the walls are collapsing around them, Shira's just standing there cackling as everything falls under.
He's a diabolical bastard.
Yeah, he's definitely the Joker of the show.
Why are you shaking your head, man?
Because he's a fucking evil mother.
He's the most evil person in the show by far. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's not.
I hate that motherfucker.
But I'll get to it a little bit later.
But so they're all just trying to get out of there. We do see Brando is swept up in all this, and there's the pretty creepy scene of him kind of trying to swim away, and those brainless undead people that he created with all their creepy animal masks are reaching up at him, trying to drag him under, when a hand reaches down and grabs him out. And I guess it's his brother. I don't know if we met this guy before. I don't, maybe in a flashback. I didn't know he was in the castle or whatever, but he pulls him up and is just hey man, I got you. We got to get out of here. But at the gates, we're seeing, while this riot is going on, you got all the women and children outside that are trying to get their husbands. They're fighting to get in. You've got all the husbands on the other side. They're fighting to get out. And the guards are hey, we might just have to start killing people to try and get this quiet. And luckily, one of the other guards just knocks out the leader and is just let him out. There doesn't need to be any more bloodshed. Let's just let these people go. Clearly, Kagemura has gone too far, and you can start.
Which for me, especially in this climate, it's is there really a voice of reason in those moments, in real life? You think about any type of massacres there were and stuff, with people in civil unrest and stuff. It's is there that one person fam, y'all tripping? We can't do this right now. And then and especially go to the extent to knock dude out is damn, we need more people like that shit.
Yeah. True. Hopefully that's something that really happens, though I can't think of a single time.
Not
an example.
I can't.
But we see those 3 doctors again trying to make their escape, trying to blend in with the crowd when they get stopped by a guard. They're hey, we're looking for 3 doctors. Somebody gave up the key. Looks like it could have been you guys. When another guard, again, I'm not sure if we're supposed to know who this guy is, comes out of nowhere and drops the alibi oh, no, there were 3 other doctors at another gate. We stopped them. These guys are cool. The doctors run. The guard kind of gives him
But he even ran himself into a pigeon. He was well, only I know this information. What? That would have been fishy right off the jump. What do you mean you're the only person?
How about we just hold on to these guys for a few minutes until we confirm that information?
Unless he was considered somebody that was a higher rank and they had to listen to him. But I don't know. I don't know if we've seen him earlier and they didn't say exactly who he was or what. I don't know.
Yeah. I wasn't really sure if that was somebody we'd seen before, and just because I know in Barando's experiments, we've seen some of the other people in the castle talking about how creepy this dude is and how weird this work is, how they're super uncomfortable with it. Yeah. So maybe we've seen these people before, but to be honest, there's been so many characters, I didn't recognize them.
There has been.
But Brando is kind of watching this all unfold, watching these families get reunited, and his brother's laying into him, giving him a guilt trips. You got too obsessed with how far you could take Western medicine. You look too you look down on Eastern medicine and said there was nothing to be learned, but really what you need to be doing is kind of taking those two and merging them together, just like we're watching all of these people merge together in front of us. And I mean,
Bars.
yeah. But elsewhere, Doa and Asaku have escaped. He's trying to find some clothes for her because, part of her attack was like throwing off her clothes into some dude's face and cutting him up. Gichi and Hyakurin are outside where they had been helping the crowds out, helping to keep the women and children calm, or like, calm enough that the guards don't, go in on them. And they're just like, man, I hope they all got out safe. And Manji and Rin actually are somehow got out and are laying out in like a bamboo forest in the sun, holding hands. And, Rin is just like, hey, like, are you okay? And Manji he's just hungry, I guess. I don't know. But
she said something. She said something about like, do you see me as your little sister still? And he says,
that's a little bit later. That's a little bit later, I think.
No,
yeah, that's when they're in the. That's when they're staying in the artist house. But there are some credits there. This time there was I did stick around for the after credit scene. Barando was like burning all his notes and journals.
Now
shaves
I've
his
been
head.
watching it ever since Keenan said that. I'll be sticking around because I usually just go straight to the next episode.
I hate all of it.
Yeah, because usually like Amazon is like they're real quick with like the next episode up.
Yeah, within like 3 seconds.
Yeah, they're like, hey, get this shit. Hey, we trying to get this viewership up. Come on, don't leave.
On to the next one. Yeah. Don't stop to think about what you're watching. Just watch the next one. But he's burning all his notes and, shaves his head, dons some more traditional clothing and vows to, rethink his life and his approach to medicine and walks off into the woods. Meanwhile, Doa and Asaku are kind of saying their goodbyes with Rin and Manji. They're gonna head off on their own. It doesn't sound like they're gonna head back to meet up with the rest of the Itoryu. I guess they're gonna go look for their land where they can kind of be on their own. We heard that's something they were looking for.
They earned this shit.
Yeah, sure. And Doa hands Rin a parting gift, a knife, a wooden knife, or at least the handle is wooden, with a carving on it of the her same face tattoo. And she explains that it's a symbol that she designed with the meaning that, we'll meet again. And it's tradition in her tribe and says that, you're supposed to give it to the first man that she loves. And I really hope she doesn't give it to Manji. That's all I'm saying.
She probably is, but I think also she said
so
it was
too.
like something that she did was like halfway finished. You get to finish the rest of the design yourself before you give it to somebody.
Yeah, she got it started. She got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But the next episode starts with one of the Itoryu, this guy named Baro, who gets attacked by a bunch of assassins from this school called the Rokidan, who we haven't really heard of yet. And he just runs right through them. It's all these dudes with like demon masks on and like one other dude with kind of like a, covering over his face. And this dude just like slices through all of them with this crazy long sword with a bunch of holes in it.
Yeah.
But
So
elsewhere,
that's a cool looking sword.
Yeah.
it was cool.
It reminded me of what's the name? On the Berserk one had that extra long sword that was probably just like, all right, that's a little too much, but
Oh yeah, Guts.
yeah, guts. Yeah.
Yeah. But Kagimura elsewhere, now with his eye patch, he's got the pirate look going on. He meets up with another daughter, another child of his that he has, this daughter Rio, and we kind of get a quick VO that mentions that I guess he rose to power during a time that the shogunate was at peace. So the way he wanted to, because there wasn't warfare going on, the way he made himself important to the shogunate was by being an assassin. So maybe he felt threatened by the Itoryu also becoming, a powerful entity and didn't want to lose that position. And maybe that's why he has such an axe to grind with them. But we can kind of only guess. But Kagimura gets all the Rokidan together, which we didn't know about them till now, but I guess this is another school of assassins that he leads. That's not the Mugai Ryu. It's just another school he's running. But not only is his daughter a part of that, it looks like there's a bunch of other like assassins and killers. They got like another big dude. They got this guy with like a rat face and a couple other like nondescript assassin people. And he gives them, basically their mission statement. Like, hey guys, like I got fired off the job, and unfortunately they told me I did such a bad job I got to kill myself. But we still gotta get these Itoryu, like, and I'm not gonna give up on them. So basically, you were all sentenced to death. And the only way you were saved was because you came here. And I'm telling you, our mission now is to kill the Itoryu in the next 30 days before I got to kill myself. And if you don't do that, I'm killing you before I kill myself. So let's fucking go.
That's kind of
Dope. Now I almost said the G word.
Why did it take Rob to explain it to me to understand what happened? Because I watched that and I was like, what the fuck did he just say?
I mean,
Like,
I got it.
I did not. I was just like, I think I understand.
I had to watch it. I had to because I was on FaceTime with somebody when I was watching it, but I was like, let me call you back. Like I gotta watch this again because they talking some bullshit right now. So let me watch this over.
It doesn't make any. I still don't understand the motivation there. So let me redeem the honor of my life, but even though I don't have any. You know what? Go ahead, Rob. Talk about the next part. So
that wasn't even a deal. It wasn't even a deal.
Hold on, but let me. I have some shit I want to say about this motherfucker, but I can't until we get to the next part.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, back at the burned down Itaryu dojo, turns out they never left. They're having secret meetings in the basement. They're not fucking leaving. So they're down in the basement meeting with a bunch of other people, you know, from the Itaryu that have some of the lesser members, you know, not the core 10 that they met with. They kind of showed up and were just like, hey, you know, we signed up for the Itaryu. Like, we're down for this life. Like, it's time to go to war. We're here. So they're ready to go. And Kagehisa and Taito meet up, you know, above ground with some of the other like core members. And Kagehisa tells Taito, you know, it's time for them to start running wild. So back at the artist house, Rin is apparently picking up a part-time job assisting him since his assistant has been married off. And while she's assisting him, two of the women that we saw at the Rokidan meeting show up pretending to be art students and basically are just like, hey, like, take us in. Kagehisa... Okay. Yeah, and he does. Kagehisa, meanwhile, is meeting up with the new shogunate leader, this guy Hanabusa, who's got maybe overly plucked his eyebrows. And he's been basically replaced Kagimura, and he's telling him, like, you're fired, like, you're done here. You did such a bad job that the Elder Council is telling you to go kill yourself. That's the only way you can redeem your honor. You have 30 days. We're going to basically get the Itaryu out of here. We're going to make a deal with them, and you're done. Like, go break up your Rokidan people that you got hanging around. Clean up, like, get your shit out of your desk. Like, get your little box. Get out of here.
All your little paperwork.
So Kagehisa then goes to meet up with Hanabusa after that as well, and he's just kind of like, listen, man, we're willing to chalk all this up to Kagimura's failings. Like, you guys can just basically get out of here. We just want you to leave Edo. We don't even really want to fight with you. And basically, if you agree to that, like, we can just end this here, no problems. And Kagehisa's just like, well, what if I say no? And of course, all the women that are around them serving them food just start like pulling out knives and hairpins and all this shit. Just like, well, you know, this can go another way. And,
I love this part. I mean, it's real quick, but I love this. She's one of my favorite characters too. The two short haired girls. All he was just strumming her little banjo. And they're like, you know what? Our bag. And she was like, I'm gonna slice. Yeah, I'll slice all you motherfuckers up. So don't even play with my mans over here.
Pretty much, yeah. And Kagehisa just is like, all right. You can put all the knives away. We'll leave in a week. There's no need for violence. And back at the artist's house, Rin brings Manji now missing an arm and is just sort of like, hey, can he stay with me in my room? Like, you know, just get him rested up, heal a little bit. Artist seems fine with that. He seems to be fine with any amount of house guests. But the two spies from the Rokidan are looking on, gossiping, rather than saying like, hey, shit, maybe that's Manji. They're just like, oh, shit, Rin's got a boyfriend. So these two these two spies, not great at their jobs. But this is when Rin and Manji are talking and, you know, they're kind of connecting and about what their next moves are going to be, what they're going to do next. And yeah, Keaton, she asked him like, oh, do I still remind you of your little sister? And he's just like, no, not really anymore. And she like, you know, kind of like blushes and is like looking away. And I'm like, this is too weird. This is too weird.
You're still not 18 yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this Brennan, are we at your part yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it just like the episode before, as they're leaving, like Doa tells her like, hey, you're 17, like you're getting pretty old, like nobody's gonna want to marry you. And after a while,
what?
They apparently they moved quick back in the day. You know, life expectancy was a lot shorter, I guess.
You old 19-year-old bitch.
But back at Edo Castle, you know, Kagimura has been given his pink slip. You know, he's out, and basically to assure that he will cooperate, Hanabusa starts moving on some people that he knew. He basically socks up his old butler, like beats him up, goes in and finds his wife and kid, kind of just hanging out in their house, and takes him hostage. And Rio, his Kagimura's bastard daughter, is there and is kind of just like, all right, well, I'm not going to stand for this, and tries to defend them. She gets cut up a little bit, but she's ready to fight when the wife is just like, no, like, stop. There's no need for this. We give ourselves up. This is fine. Like, we surrender. We willingly surrender. So
Rio boy was like, wait,
we're not gonna.
What are we? You sacrifice yourself. It's like,
yeah, right.
Like, what are you talking about?
But Rio goes back and reports what happened to Kagimura, who's just like, all right, shit, like, we're gonna, like, they can take my wife and kid, but we're gonna smoke out the Itoryu before they get out of here in a week or whatever. And they go about torturing and killing people to try to find some information. Yeah. And unfortunately, that leads to nothing. Like, they even captured one of the guy that we saw in the beginning of the episode. They find his old fiance and like end up torturing her, but she doesn't give him anything. She kills herself before she gives them anything. But what they do end up getting some info on is they go back to their old dojo to just be like, maybe we can just like fucking figure this shit out. Like, maybe they hid something here, and lo and behold, they do find the hidden basement. And some of the rank and file are down in the basement when they see the one-armed guy. I think his name is Abayama, waiting for him, and he kind of like runs off, and they're just like, oh shit, like, they're down here, like, everybody, like, let's get after this guy, and it's a trap. How you
didn't sense that, man?
I don't know. These guys aren't
lower rate for a reason.
Pretty much. Yeah, because it's even Kagimura is just like, everybody get down there. But then he kind of like puts it together and he's just like, oh shit, they're already dead. And like, as the water comes rushing through, only their masks rise to the surface. And then, of course, a ton of archers raise up around them. And the big dude that's with him is just like, oh shit, like, I thought this was burn damage on the gates, but they just like coated all this shit in accelerant, like, they're about to burn us down. And they just, like, a barrage of arrows come in, taking out a bunch of the Itoryu, like, just, their rank and file. Or, I'm sorry, not the Itoryu, the Rokidan. Yeah. The Rokidan are going down. And but they're big guys. The ones that are clearly supposed to be the badasses, they get cover. But Rio actually manages to get over the wall and is like giving chase. And she manages to cut down a few of the scrappy guys. But
once again, the ladies are the dopest part.
She's definitely getting some kills in. But when Taito steps up, she is totally outclassed. And he just like blocks a few things, gives her the gut punch, and he's out of there.
Yo, why in anime the gut punch is like the punch?
That's
like,
it. That's
it.
Like,
have you ever had the wind knocked out of you?
Yes, I have.
You get that? You be like,
I have, but it's like when somebody gets socked in the face, it's always like okay. But they get socked, it's like it's like a triple like motion. They throw up.
Which one is stronger? Is it the punch to the stomach or that back of the neck chop? Because that
with the back of the neck chop, I can see because they don't always see that coming.
That's an instant KO every time too.
Yeah,
like that seems to be just,
if you don't see it coming,
you think about Goku and Vegeta, like when they fought, and then he just was like, oh okay, and then just hit him with that.
Then he hits Goten and Trunks up with the same thing.
Yeah.
I think there's a spot in the back of your neck where you can hit just hard enough and it knocks you out automatically. I think it's like, cutting whatever to the brain is just bam. And I feel like a gut shot of this in anime, they make it just so like damaging, like like, all right, man.
That's Dragon Ball Z did that too. Like he punched
all the time.
Punches. Yeah.
Totally. But later on, Hanabusa is trying to solve things without violence. He's talking about like how, Kagehisa, Kagimura, they're these men that want to, fight to the end and draw swords, last man standing. He's like, I'm trying to do it a little differently. Maybe we can just kind of coerce this guy into cooperating. So he basically arranges this meeting with Kagimura and it's just like, we got your wife, we got your kid, you're going to disband your little club, and then you're going to kill yourself, and, they'll be fine. That's all this is going to be, and at least they can live on happily. You just have to answer for your crimes and your failures. And instead, Kagimura's wife, not only is she like willing to surrender herself as a hostage, she then is just like, you know what, honey, like, I'm not going to be a pawn for them to use against you. Like, and the son also is just like, sorry, Dad, like I was never good with the sword like you were, and I always wanted to be. Anyway, time for us to take our exit. And the wife just like slits his throat and shoves the knife through her own throat, and they are done. And everybody is just like, what the fuck just happened?
Bro.
Including him.
Bro.
Yes.
First of all, take your own life.
Yeah.
Bro.
But what if the son didn't agree? What if the son just like, yeah, dad, I wasn't a good sword. But, hey, what the fuck?
I didn't sign up for this.
I came with an apology. I didn't say I was killing myself. I'm 9, bitch. Like, I got time to live. I can get better at life.
What motivation does this man have to go after the Iryu now? He no longer has a legacy. His son is dead. Like,
his daughter.
He has the dog. Okay, that he's not any part of her life. He won't be because he's gonna kill himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like he just witnessed his wife, the one who he loved, quote unquote, murder herself in front of him. Like, he failed at everything he's done already. Why does he have an actual motivation to go after Iryu?
I mean, that's the motivation. Shit.
For me, I'd just be like, well.
That's the motivation.
I think at that point
you lose at that point.
If I watch my wife and kids murder themselves in front of him, he's already lost. It's like I don't care.
You lose at that point because you don't have nobody gets their just due.
I'm just saying,
even fighting.
But I'm saying, like, I don't feel like there'd even be any satisfaction from killing Iryu because I'm like,
it'd be some satisfaction.
My family doesn't live on. Like, I still am Captain L.
But if you kill yourself, it's still an L. So like you gotta at least try something.
An L is an L is an L is an L.
There's bigger L's. Bigger L's.
He's basically just like
L's have levels. Let's not. There's a difference between Blaze of Immortal and Gangsta. L's definitely have levels. Come on now.
He's just basically like, put it on my gravestone. I said I did what I said I was gonna do.
Right.
I set out to do something, and I did that shit.
Well, yeah, I guess. You got to remember back then too. Everything's about like legacy and how you went out. Yeah. Like, it's not even about dying. It's like I went out on my own terms, or I killed somebody, but I killed myself afterwards. But like I said, I got the job done, like on my tombstone. But I think that was just a little bit overboard for you to slice your own son's throat and stab your own self in the throat.
Kill yourself, man. Don't kill me.
Yeah, you killed my son. I probably would be like, hold on, bitch, fine, and threw a knife at her face. Like, you killed my son.
Kill yourself. Man.
Yeah, but
I was hurt by this. To be honest,
this was crazy. Yeah, this was crazy. But and Kagemura loses it. And he runs up to Hanabusa and just basically gets real close to him. It's just like, let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to kill the Iryu in the next 20 days. And then, whether I do it or not, I'm going to kill myself afterwards. However, if I don't do it, if my men don't do it, I will take all their lives. I will come to your doorstep and dump their heads in front of you. And then I will kill myself if we don't do it. And if you come and interfere with me again, you better come ready to fight, because that's the only way we're meeting again. And then he takes off, and Hanabusa falls to the ground, his pants completely soaked in piss.
It's so hot piss. Hot piss. That piss was the hottest piss I've ever seen in my life.
Steaming. So I don't know how he's if your boss, like, if he just gets like schooled like that by the old boss that you guys just had, like, I would no longer have any respect for that guy personally.
I always think about stuff like in roasting terms, like, you can never come back from that. You talking, I'm roasting you. Shut up. You got hot piss on yourself. Like, what are you going to say? It happened. You can't, there's no responding from that. You pissed on yourself, you're done.
Yeah, you were like, I'm going to do this whole thing different, and then you pissed your pants and quit. Like,
yeah, like.
Only thing worse is shit in your pants.
Oh, I mean, worse. As hot as that piss was, I don't know. If it was lukewarm, maybe, but that shit was steaming.
It was fresh. But the next episode starts with Maki and Kagehisa hanging out before he goes out on his last running wild mission with his guys.
This is the third episode?
Yeah. And she's playing some music for him. She coughs up some blood. I don't know if she's sick or dealing with some infection from when she bound up her hand like that or something. Not really sure. But in town, we see Rin is kind of just walking through Ito when all of a sudden she runs into Kagehisa, just like out and about, running from the Rokidan. And they're chasing him, and he's like pulls out the sword. He's ready to go. And Rin is just like, no, wait. Yeah. Like throws her shawl over him, like pretends to just be his girlfriend as they're like sitting, watching the clouds go by. And this Rigodan assassin like just kind of comes by, sees the two of them, and just like, all right, this is not them, like, and keeps on going. And Kagehisa tells her, like, hey, like, we're leaving, we're getting out of here, in the next few days. And he says, I told the government we're going to this place, Satsuma, but that's not really where we're going. We're basically going to catch a boat at this place called Hitachi, and we're just going to kind of go on from there. And Rin says she wants to go with him. For some reason, she's just says like, and he kind of is just like, why do you care about what we're doing? And she's like, well, it's my burden to know like what you guys are up to. So I'm in, like I'm following. And he's like, all right, you can come along if you bring Manji.
Right. Yeah.
And Manji, I guess, is like he agrees to go, I guess, because
How is he
he's
not
Rin's bodyguard.
traumatized? How is he not traumatized? How does he go through that entire jail sentence of having his limbs ripped from him constantly and having other people's limbs attached to him and different body parts and organs removed and put in other people and vice versa for however long that happened, to be able to go from that to chilling laying in the sun and be like, you know what? You want to go into a battle again? I'm down. No big deal.
I think he was traumatized in jail, and then he was just like, all right, he got to a point in his place, but then he's also seen so much shit.
He's been alive 300 years.
Yeah.
We don't know that. We actually don't know that.
Yeah.
We don't know what trauma he's been through. We don't understand that. But if you understand how trauma works, it's not something that you're physically going through the trauma and then it's over. Like PTSD is a whole thing.
I feel like people handle it different ways. That is a very, like, how he's going about it.
So wait, hold on.
Like
so
that.
y'all defending his spy right now. So are y'all saying that it felt like a regular thing for y'all too? To see literally no change in him because of that experience?
It didn't affect me. It wasn't like people.
You didn't expect to see any change in him?
No.
Like him to give less fucks or something?
No.
I mean, him getting his limbs chopped off and putting them back on is kind of just like a Tuesday for this dude.
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's just, unfortunately.
Okay,
My thing is, honestly,
were.
my thing is at this point, like, I just feel like, he can't. How does he go shopping now? Let me get a size 9 and a size 12. Like, he has different people's feet on him, different people's arms on him. Like, he got one big hand, he got one Shaq hand, he got one Muggsy Bogues hand. Like, how do you even hold
that
shit?
Kawhi hand.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
The claw, yeah. No, he's kind of lucky when they found him that he had all the original parts. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have had
the original
anything.
parts. They got the original parts back.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be when they busted him out of prison, he had all his parts, that are the original construction. It seems to be.
Yeah,
he didn't have like some other dude's stuff on him. I don't know. They at least didn't bring it up. But yeah, he agrees to go along with Rin because I guess she hired him for this job, and he was in too deep at this point to say no. But the two Rikudan spies who are posing as the artist's assistants reveal himself. Draw him some goodbye pictures and say, we got to leave. We're spies for the shoganate.
And he didn't bat an eyelash at that, by the way.
It's funny. He's like, it's funny that you think that I didn't notice. Like, duh. And he's like, I noticed from the jump.
He doesn't seem like bothered by it at all. And Meguro, the girl with the lighter hair, is like, she's clearly into him. It's just like, I'm so sorry. Like, we'll be back. Like, here's a picture of me to remember me by. And he's just like, yeah, all right. Like, see you later.
Hey, what name is this? Oh, that's my real name. Just to let you know.
He's like, okay. Anyway, like, he throws it in the pile.
That picture was low key trash too.
That shit was garbage.
It was low key
look like her at all.
It was low key gangsta.
It was trash. It was very much. And it's not like you a kid and it's like, oh, look at your work. Like, no, this is garbage. Like, you're a grown woman. Like, you could have came stronger than this. Like,
he's just like, I'm not a very good teacher. Rin then shows up later on and is just like, hey, like, sorry, I got to tell you something. He's like, oh, let me guess, you got to leave town. And she's like, oh, yeah, like, how'd you know? Wow, you're still so connected. But elsewhere, Kagehisa and Maki are saying goodbye to each other. They say their goodbyes, give it one good, they pound it out. They finally do their thing. And he's kind of just like, pound
it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that one recently.
Hilarious.
I heard that one recently. I was like, oh, that's a good one. I'm going to keep that.
Pound it out.
That's funny. You just heard that. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
That was like classy anime sex to me. It was art.
I was trying to figure out that. I had to ask myself, I was like, did they just have sex?
Oh, yeah, they definitely did.
It was very much like
the foot shot. The
foot shot.
Yeah, it reminded me of the this was the anime version of that Top Gun love scene of just the cheesy music and the silhouettes laying down on the bed together, making it classy. But I guess
I thought he was gonna say making a clap. I really did.
I would have cried.
I thought he was gonna say.
That was Evangelion. The sex scene that we used to make fun of.
Yeah. But it's a little unclear to me what Maki's going to do because Kagehisa's just seems to be leaving her behind. I guess not bringing her along, and he's kind of just once I leave, who's going to force you to keep up your training and your life with the sword?
You're tripping. She's a beast. Take her.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand. Maybe because she's sick and she was coughing up blood, but they didn't really address it. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
This show is the biggest fan of loose ends. I thought Attack on Titan liked loose ends, but we didn't even know. We had no idea the level of loose ends.
We had no idea. At least Attack on Titan gives you the 5 milliseconds to read a fucking book every time they code to and come back from commercial. If you take the time, you can find the information. I mean, Blades of the Immortal is kind of just throwing us in the deep end.
I just Attack on Titan coming back, man.
I really couldn't care less. I'll probably watch it because
you better finish it now. It's only one last season.
Like Manji, I feel like I've come too far to not see this through to the end. I at least got to see it. But I'm just whatever. I have not watched the trailer. Let me put it that way. So the Itoryu, they're doing their whole walk out of town, Reservoir Dog style, just kind of everybody gathering up and marching out, going to Hitachi. The Rikudan are following after them. They're about a day behind. And some of the Itoryu guys are just why? We're all of us, why aren't we just making a last stand of this? What are we running for? Why? We're the Itoryu. We should be fighting. And Abayama, the one-armed guy, is just that's not what this is about. This is a fight for survival of our way of life, our school, our style. Our one goal is to get one of us out of here, and so that's what we're gonna do. If we gotta run to do that, then that's an honorable thing.
He was bitch, y'all suck. Y'all suck.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
He's did any of you keep up with me after 3 moves?
Right.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you come up with me after. Okay, shut up and follow me because they will kill you. Because he just said, there's this one guy follows. It's terrifying to me. And if it's terrifying to me, I'm terrifying to you. What's going to happen to y'all? Right.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Gichi and Hyakuren are hanging out. He gives her a bunch of money. He seems to be go off on your own. And she's you can't buy me off. I'm not raising this child without you. I don't know if he forgot that he said he was going to do that.
Right.
Even though they just talked about this.
Anime dads.
Yeah, I guess he was I thought about it. I'm out of here. Fuck that.
He's actually, I forgot I'm in an anime.
I was about to be a good anime dad. I can't do that.
Raise this kid. That's crazy.
I'm tripping.
But elsewhere, the Rikudan spies, those 2 girls, they're spying on the Itoryu leaving town, but they're just Kagehisa, Taito, none of the commanders are with them. This is just sort of just some scrubs that are out there walking the road. So, but maybe we should go report this back. So they go run to report it back to their boss when they run into a bunch of assassins on the road. I think that they work for the shogunate, though. They never. I think they talk about that a little bit later. These are some of the, I guess, Hanabusa's people. It's this lady with a bunch of other lady assassins with them, and they come out with a shuriken attack and just throw a whole storm of them at them. And Tenpopo, the girl with the darker hair, gets hit with one, and it must be poison because she basically passes out immediately.
Straight to the titty. Straight to the shuriken titty shot.
Took her out. And the woman that attacked him asks if they're Kagimura spies. But before we can get any more from that, they cut away to Manji and Rin walking down the road, and they see Meguro basically running away. We don't know how they got away, but they did.
She had that cartoon run.
She was booking it too. She was fucking fast.
Out.
And she's carrying Tenpopo on her back, and she runs into them and stops, and they're just oh shit, let us help you. So they bring them to a local inn asking for a doctor, and surprise, the doctor working there is Barando, and he helps them.
You gotta square up. I'm sorry.
At that point, yeah.
We gotta square up. You can help me, but we gotta square up.
Yeah, I give you a fair one. I go hand to hand with you. I ain't gonna use some weapons. Somebody's hand. I don't know.
Somebody. Yeah, I mean, Rin could serve him up again, I guess.
Right.
But, But he helps them out, and as Tenpopo is healing, Rin is talking with Meguro, and is kind of Rin's better at their job than they are. She's just like, oh yeah, you guys must be spies then. And she's just like, well, how did you figure that out? Like, how do you even know who Kagemura is? Wait, are you that Rin? Is that Manji? That Manji? Like,
what Manji? Is Manji like a name James? So there's like a lot of Manjis out there. What the fuck?
You're Jim. Like,
yes. It's the dude that looks exactly like the fucking wanted posters.
Right.
It's him.
And it's not like he has cut his whole left eye, right eye, whatever eye that is gone. So like, he has very distinct, very different features from everybody else. Like,
he stands out in the crowd.
Exactly.
He stands out. But outside, Manji and Miranda are talking. He seems to be cool with him, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, you're right, Brendan. He's not phased. Totally cool with his former torturer. Barando, though, says he's trying to lead a new, cleaner life. You know, he's merging his Western and Eastern medicine, just like his brother had told him about, trying to really help people. And Manji kind of tells him a little bit about himself, just like how he's trying to kill 1,000 evil men to redeem himself. And the doctor is just like, how is killing a bunch of men... How is killing 1,000 men going to redeem you for killing 100 men? That doesn't really seem to make any sense to me.
Killing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you the one to talk. Like,
right.
Who are you?
You're right.
But also, too, I think it goes back to that first episode, not first episode, but the first of these episodes where he kind of like all this stuff. Nobody, because he said something like nobody was able to become immortal. So this must mean it's like it's fate. It's like this. He has a bigger purpose because nobody else is, at least from what he knows, was able to be immortal. And then he kind of tells him about like pretty much like you must have a bigger purpose because you're still alive doing all this, and maybe you're not supposed to be killing people just to be, I guess, killing or whatever. That's
one thing about Japanese culture, man. They love them some atonement. They can't just be out here. They got to atone for whatever they did. That's a lot. Like, it's a big thing in Naruto. It's a big thing in other animes. Like, they got to atone for some shit.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you gotta get your honor back, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, he does. He tells Manji, like, it must be your force of will. You're here to do something. And as Manji thinks about that, we cut away and see some of the core Itoryu people are getting together for their big final attack on Edo Castle. We meet this new guy, Ozuhan, some guy with like a weird like demon mask on. And it's him, Kagehisa, Taito, and Baro, the guy that with the big long sword with the holes in it. They take a drink and are just like, all right, like it's us, like let's do this. So Kagehisa,
this is the best part of the entire show.
I agree.
The entire show.
I fully agree.
Would argue with you. You know what the dude with the mask? He reminded me of Tommy Davidson from Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. I don't know why I got that vibe from him.
Because
he was so funny.
He had the shirt.
I like him because he's the only person in any anime ever to be able to give people hands in general, but be tired. Like, you know, it's like everybody else is like no fatigue whatsoever, and he's just like they kill a bunch of people. He's like,
shit,
shit,
there's more. I mean, we gonna kill him. But shit, you didn't tell me there was like these motherfuckers up these steps. Okay. You know, like,
did my Fitbit record all of this?
They launch a full scale attack on this castle.
They light that castle up. This is the only part of this entire show.
This is where the whole budget went, right?
This is the only part of the entire show that it didn't make sense, but it was okay.
It was okay.
Because Rob, do you mind? So they go through, they kill these hoes, they kill pretty much everybody. My favorite part of the whole fight
when they hyped
those two guys, these two guys, because you always know in anime, what happens is that like they'll be killing a bunch of guys that all have like gray or black on, they all look the same, they're all just getting lit up. They're cannon fodder, right? Yeah. And then there's the colorful guys, the guys wearing like the crazy things with the cool sword and the cool hair, and we're just like, oh shit, we about to have a boss fight, and they were like, they said their names like, I'm the captain of blah blah blah, and then the guy's like Captain blah blah, and then the other guys didn't even say shit. Like the one dude just came up and just like, sink. Cut both.
That's the boss. That was the boss.
The boss did the interview. That he just came up just like shoop and cut off both of their craniums. He didn't cut off their neck from their necks. He cut off like he cut through both of their brains.
Just get out, bro. Like you just cutting his craniums off, bro.
And
When he killed him, he just cut him off. He was like, all right, you ready to go?
Let's go.
Yeah,
They
let's
just
go.
hit the corner and kept going about their business.
Yeah,
Like,
nobody cared. That's what this scene was. It's like just a
Yeah.
massacre. And so then they get up to the top, and they finally meet up with the leader guy who they originally had negotiated with.
before you get to that, when I was talking about the direction in this piece was so dope because they had it because the Tommy Davidson dude, like he kept fucking up all the archers. Like he would go up where the archers was and then kill them. I think one of the dopest shots was he hopped up in the window and then they all looked and it like shifted all their heads to him to look at him and it was like I thought that was like fucking that was cold as hell. Like and all of them was
he was
work.
so quick. He was lighting everybody up. And so they kill everybody, and they finally get to the final boss, who's the guy who they originally negotiated leaving town. They're like, we're going to leave or whatever. And he sees them, and he's just like, what the shit? Why didn't you guys leave?
We had an agreement.
Yeah, we had an agreement. It's like, what, 3 of you guys doing this shit? Like, what y'all like? Why y'all 3 coming up in here like that? And they're like,
4.
There's 4 of us. And the guy that Ice was just talking about was behind him, face slams him into the ground, and now they have a hostage, and they're just like, we're going to leave now. And then before they leave, the leader gives them a speech. It's like, hey, look, originally we wanted to be the fang of the shogunate. We wanted to be the thing that made other people fear the shogunate. But then I realized that from a fang came poison. But if you can survive the poison, your body is stronger afterwards. So consider us the poison right now because we just put y'all through some shit. So y'all need to get stronger to be able to handle stuff like this because this could have happened anytime.
Yeah.
All right, bye. Throws them in the moat. And then they just dip out.
That reminded me of Charlie Murphy and Rick James because then they grabbed him. It was like, come on. He was like, yo, anybody touch me, I'm kicking this nigga out the motherfucking window. And that's what that reminded me of. It was like, y'all step up, we gonna kill this dude. They were just following them the whole time. And still. But then, I mean.
That scene was hard. And I feel like my biggest thing was like, where have they been? Where have these guys been this whole time? I know we saw the masked dude, but the other 2...
But they weren't needed, though.
They throughout the show?
I mean, not a lot of stuff happened to where you needed to have them, I guess, put in work.
Man. This showed me what this show could have been, and they could have done this well before the shit even happened. Like, they could have done that 19 episodes ago. They had these guys, like, all right, at least come in, show that they mean business, and then disappear for a couple episodes and come back. But, like, they were just like, nah, like, we don't want these 2 dudes they just show up on episode 19 and do work, and then they only got 4 or 5 episodes to be relevant. Like, that's whack.
Yeah. I agree. But yeah, he throws him off and they book off into the woods with the rifleman shooting after him. But that ends up that episode. And the last one we watched, episode 20.
Nah. So there was another.
There was?
Credit. There was an after
Fucking
credit.
A. Amazon. Got me every time. What happened with this one?
So actually, the dude with the long sword, he ended up getting hit.
Oh, shit.
So he got hit because they're climbing a wall to like pretty much escape. And he goes, look, I'm out, y'all. I can't really help you. I got pretty much like a mortal wound. But I'm going to go back here and I'm going to distract these dudes and take out as many as I can to stop them from just immediately coming after y'all. And y'all go to work. And then you see him lined up with those dudes surrounded. And then it cuts from there. Yeah, but he's dead. So that's why if you didn't know, you like, where's the long sword do that? When they go to war, I'm sure he's not going to be there.
They have the worst.
Good to know.
Okay, either way, whatever. Go ahead.
And I mean, they didn't have enough budget for him to show his fight. So
of course not.
Guess not. No, they spent it all on the castle attack.
Castle attack.
This next episode started out like almost like with a cinematic like credit sequence. They didn't go do the whole like opening song, which I was really happy for. This is maybe one of my least favorite opening songs we've had.
Worst opening I've ever.
It's just letting you know what's coming. That's all.
Survive a vision. But Shira is we see him again. He's got blind in one eye, missing his arms, but he gets a letter from somebody. Not really sure what it says. I can only guess based on what comes afterwards that it may have been some lead from maybe Kagimura telling him he kind of knows where Manji is. But I can only guess that because of what happens next. That the 2 Rikudan spies healed up from their shuriken attack are back on the road, chasing after the Itoryu. And they're kind of talking with each other just like, should we turn Manji and Rin in? And Maduro or whatever her name is just kind of like, well, that's not our job. We'll let them go. But as soon as they come around the corner, Shira jumps out and is just like, did I just hear you say Manji? And they recognize him and as somebody like, oh, this must have been the guy that Kagimura told us about. He said, if you run into this dude, he's a fucking demon. If he wants information out of you, just give it to him and pray you survive the encounter. It's basically what he tells him.
Great information.
No, that's the best advice anybody gives anybody in this whole show. You see that guy, do whatever he says. Like,
I would have said, as soon as you spot him, get the fuck out of Dodge.
You can't outrun that motherfucker. Like, he's gonna if he wants something from you, he's gonna get it. So you might as well give it to him easy.
Easy.
Whoa.
Oh, we're back on the berserk conversation. Right. But Manji is on the road. He's in a little carriage, like having a conversation with his little cab driver. Like, I'm one of the fastest ones out there. Sorry, I had to stop to take that pee or whatever. But we're gonna catch up to him. Don't you worry. And as soon as they do catch up to Rin's carriage, but she's not there, and all her drivers have been eviscerated. Yeah. And Shira has taken her and is running off into the woods. The Rikudan spies then also come across the dead bodies of the assassins that attacked them the day before. Looks like Shira did it based on just like the grotesquerie of it. And they, I guess, realize the kind of monster they just gave that information to. But while they deal with that information, Manji finally arrives where Shira is and is just like, all right, where's Rin? Like, tell me now. And Shira's just like, oh, I killed her. She's dead. Manji is like, no, that's not like you. You would have done that. You would have.
That's how diabolical this dude is. He's like, bro, you don't just murder people that people care about. You torture. So stop with all the bullshit. Did you torture her?
Look,
That's your MO.
I give him credit, bro. He did a really good job on this one. Like, the way he set up this torture scene, like what he did, I was just like, damn.
Yeah, because we cut over to Rin as she's basically pleading with Renzo to betray Shira, and she's tied up to a dock in like this freezing water. It's snowing out. Her arms are tied up, and we can't really see. She's like up to her stomach in the water. We can't really see, but we just see that snot and tears are freezing on her face. She's in a bad way, and she's just begging Renzo to betray him because she's like, after he kills us, like, you got to understand, he's going to kill you next. This guy is a wild animal.
Nobody, man.
He said, run. Just run.
Just get out of here.
About me. Just run.
Yeah. And back at the fight, Manji is, pissed. He's coming in on Shira and, carves him up, gives him what would have been some killing blows. But, of course, he got his arm. He attached that shit, and now he's got the blood worm, so he just heals back up. This is another dude, just like Asaku, is apparently able to heal from what seemed to be fatal wounds. He seems to almost be like a polar opposite to Manji in that, he's this demon and agent of chaos and evil, and that's kind of what Manji says. But Shira's just toying with him. He's cutting him up, kind of just like trying to get him mad, work him up, and even points out, he's just like, all right, fine, I'll tell you where Rin is. She's over there. Take a look. Like, you can see her right from here. It looks like she's not doing so great. And
this is when he kind of tells her like why he put her that way too.
No, not yet. Because he does.
Oh my god.
That does happen soon. But he basically points her out, and Manji just runs. He's about to go after her. Shira holds on to him his first second, but Manji just turns around, slashes him, and runs off. And Shira's just like, man, like when there's a young girl in trouble, that guy really gets to it.
Kills.
But Shira does go after him, and he doesn't get too far because he gets fucking run the fuck over by Taito and Kagehisa trying to get out of there.
I'd rather get ran over by a car than a horse, dog. I don't know why, but that shit just seems so funny, dog. They get hit by a horse?
It's a bad day. And Taito just turns to Kagehisa and he's just like, oh shit, I think I hit somebody back there. Like, I better go check that out. You go ahead. I'll come back and check in. And when Taito gets back there, he can't believe what the fuck he's seeing, that this guy is still alive.
Imagine that.
You can't believe it? You let him...
This guy said exactly what he's like. I will come back and I will haunt you, and that's exactly what happened. Taito is just like, and he gets right to it. He just takes his swords out, immediately stabs this guy, but he doesn't, of course, realize what he's become. And that kind of move isn't working anymore. Yeah. Like, Shira's beyond him at this point, and he turns it around on Taito, takes his own swords out, knocks him over, and pins him to the fucking ground. And we cut away as he's screaming. And Manji gets to the dock where Rin is, and just drops all the swords and doesn't even talk with Renzo. He's just like, all right, like I got to save her. Takes a knife, cuts Rin's hands, but she plunges immediately down to the water because we see under the water she's got a huge rock tied to her leg, and she just sinks. And that was
so brilliant. He was just like, so when he cuts her loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. That's what you're thinking. Like, oh, she's tied up here. Like, let me take care of that. You're not even thinking about what's below the surface. And this is exactly what you were talking about.
This is your
when he
part,
explains
Keenan.
it.
Now you got it.
Well, first of all, that's why I asked. I didn't say the whole thing, but I said that he explained why. 'Cause I wanted to watch myself before I get y'all caught up. But I also think too that I'm guessing she was completely out cold because she couldn't say nothing to help out or nothing like that. But yeah, he pretty much says, I left her body halfway up because if your heart is still going, it'll like fight to survive, even if you're in freezing cold temperature or whatever like that.
If your heart is above the waterline, Keenan.
Yeah.
You say if your heart's still going. Like, yeah, of course, if your heart's still going, you're alive. If your heart's above the waterline, you don't freeze. Because
Man, shut the fuck up, man.
You said it incorrectly.
I said what I said. It's what the internet be saying all the time. I said what I said.
And you was wrong.
So what is the right thing again, Brennan?
Is if your heart is above the waterline, then you can survive. That's
I
what
said
he
if
was
her
saying.
hear's not cold. I said something like that. Anyways, she's
You
down
said
in the
if the
water,
heart's
man.
still
Who
going.
cares?
You said if the heart's still going.
She's underwater already, Brendan. She's underwater. She's drowning, man. She's dying.
She goes under. She's freezing.
Hey guys, I want y'all to know
She
this
never
moment was
freezes.
brought to you by Wording is Hard. If you want to get a good laugh at Keenan's expense, go to YouTube and type in Wording is Hard Keenan Baker. Because if you want to see somebody take an L, Keenan takes an L.
You know why I don't care about
To
this
the
L?
face.
I don't care about this L. I don't care about this L because everybody in the comment section said the same thing. These were the hardest sets of words since this show started. So I don't care.
Those were some hard words.
All I'm saying is watch Keenan take that L, and it's amazing. It's the most humble and angry you will ever see Keenan at the same time.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But yeah.
Possibly.
There were a few times I thought you were about to turn around and punch Maya. You were just like,
I really do. I thought he's about to walk off the set. He's done.
I would never hit a woman.
Of course
Two,
not.
it was nothing about Maya. It was just literally like
Maya.
People say, I heard Tony V say Maya. That's why.
He did not.
He does say it.
He
has
says
said it. He said
I've
it.
heard him say Maya.
Yeah, I've
He
heard him
does.
say it
He does
before,
not
too.
say that.
We can put money on it.
Maybe he goes quiet on the E. Maybe he goes Maya.
On the E.
Yeah, her name's spelled M-A-Y-E. So
Yeah.
that's why some people call her May or Mai. But her name,
M-A-O.
her name is Maya. Phonetically, it makes literally no sense. But whatever.
We should just put Maya in the middle of this goddamn podcast somewhere. In the middle, like just between our squares. She makes it hilarious. But
She would just hate
She
us.
does. She would.
She's like, you guys could be working for NASA. You sitting here and you're doing anime reviews? Rob is the only one that gets that joke, but I'm going to let that be.
That's exactly what she would say. But anyway, so as Manji is struggling to save Friend, Shira shows up, thoroughly enjoying this torture. As like Manji's coming up for air, he's just like, "Man, you really should have finished me off first, dude. Like you are done now." And he's just like picking up all his swords, just like, "I'm gonna take all these. These are mine now." Tells him all about the heart above the waterline thing. And as Shira's walking off, he kind of tells Renzo, like, "Hey, man, just keep an eye on this. Like, they're going to drown eventually, probably take about a half an hour. Anyway, good work, kid." And just kind of takes off. So I guess Rin was wrong that he was going to kill him. So he just seems to be, he's just like, "Hey, I got you, man. Good work." But Manji is struggling under the water. He can't, he's trying to bite through him, rub him. Like,
He's losing his teeth.
He's losing his teeth. He can't seem to get it fixed. He can't get the
Here's
ropes
why
off.
this kid's a piece of shit. And I know they kind of talk about it later, but I just want to say it now. If this is Manji stuck like this, I get it, bro. Leave him there, look him right in his eye and be like, "Hey, go fuck yourself and freeze to death." But this lady literally saved your fucking life.
And you thought back to it. It's not like you compartmentalized it. You thought back to that moment.
You remembered. So that's why whatever happens to this kid, if he ends up in the final battle and he gets chopped down or whatever the case may be, I would just be like, Because, bro, and go ahead.
I don't care about that kid. Just like I don't care about any other character in the show, except for the girl who only shows up occasionally and got her head almost split open. But I don't even know her name. That's just
Doa.
whatever.
Doa.
Yeah.
That's how much I care.
I guess so. But he's struggling while Renzo's just crying on the dock. But as he's crying there's a shadow goes over top real quick. Tenpopo has arrived on the scene and is plunging down to help Manji. But before we can see what happens there, Shira's walking back to Taito to finish that off. But the other spy, Meguro, is there waiting for him. I guess they circled back after what they saw, what a monster Shira was, what he did to those other women. And she goes, she at first she can't believe that she's like, all right, I'm about to protect one of the commanders of the Itoryu here, but this guy is worse. So, and she's getting it in. Like, she's fast. Like, if Shira doesn't have the healing factor, like, I think she stands a decent chance in this fight. But she just can't overcome the healing factor here.
The JBL clothesline from hell.
Yeah, knocks her.
She was smoking him, man. I liked her.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, but he overpowers her, tackles her to the ground, and starts in on his tradition of his awful thing of what he does to women when she just like bursts into tears.
Bro, let me tell you something. Do whatever you have to do. Fuck pride. If somebody about to kill you and you can stall for a second to get them distracted, she cries like literally she whines. She whines. She's bursting into tears, throwing a baby.
She said something before she did it. She said, "I don't care if I have to do something. I'm a fight." I forgot what she said, but it was like something gross, like pee on myself.
She told him, I'll pee on you. And he was just like, I don't care about all that, nigga. I have my arm chopped off and shit. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But
he didn't care.
Yeah, he was like, this is so warm right now.
Oh man. He's fucked up, which is why I thought it was so weird that he stopped when she started crying. Like, I don't know why. Like, that has to have happened before, I would imagine. But
yeah, there was something weird about that. Maybe it was because she called him master or something. I don't know.
She wasn't
talking to him though when she said.
No,
that.
I think she was talking about the artist guy. Like, sorry, master. Like, sorry that this is. I won't be able to return home.
Zero fucks about this show. Just if you hear his comments, if you hear Brendan's comments, I don't even think he watched it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just hearing him talk about it, he was definitely doing something else while this was on.
Rob was like, Rob, what happened?
Right.
All right.
I was very reluctant. I called Rob.
There is some truth to that. Yeah.
I called Rob in the middle of episode 18. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. You were doing something when this was on. I guarantee it 110%.
And that's why you need to be watching the dub instead of the sub.
True. But her crying in his pause is just enough of a distraction for Taito to get up and stab Shira with one of his swords. And he coughs up a bunch. Oh, he threw it? Yeah, he threw that. And Shira coughs up a bunch of blood
on her face.
On her face.
Which was unnecessary for us to see. Let's keep it real, but go on.
Insult to injury, yeah. But Shira's just like, okay, I guess I got to finish this guy off. And goes to turn around to finish him when Manji actually arrives on the scene. He enters the fight. And Shira's taunting him. He's just like, were you able to save her? And Manji says, no, he wasn't. I think they're pump faking us here because I think Tenpopo did. Yeah. And he didn't save her on a technicality. But they clash here again. This time, it's to the death. Like this is all there's going to be. And so Shira during this fight is revealing that he no longer feels pain, which clues Manji into something. He starts whipping out some different swords that he hasn't used before. And they're just like cutting each other apart, like toes, fingers, like it's all like pieces of these guys are just flying off. But it's Shira's rage that seems to win the fight for a moment. And he gets on top of Manji and just goes fucking wild, just like stabbing him over and over again.
The sharp bone on.
Yeah, the crab claw. The crab claw.
And he says to it, and he's about to finish Manji off, just like, hey, like this is it. Like I'll end it for you. Like I guess this is the way your story comes to an end. And as he like pulls it up, Manji uses that split second to reach up, Kill Bill style, and like pluck his eye right out of his head. And blind him, and now he's blind in both eyes. And the guy's screaming like, why won't this heal? And Manji's just like, you thought like the worms from just my left arm was going to be enough to heal you like over and over again. Like, see, you're an amateur with this. Like once you told me you no longer felt pain, that's why I took out this sword. Every time it cuts you deeper. Like you're going to have a harder time to recover from that. And it allowed, basically he did overpower the healing factor. Those light cuts that Meguro was giving him wasn't doing it. But those big devastating things, apparently that was enough to overpower him. Shira's just blind in a rage now, just like cuts off Manji's foot and just books. Yeah. But Taito's managed to get on his horse and runs him down again, comes back, grabs Manji, throws him on the horse, runs him down again. And this time Manji just takes one of the swords and just pins him to the ground. Takes off the arm, puts it back on, cuts off all his other limbs, and they fucking just leave him in the snow to die.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, they pinned the sword on his heart, so I was like, maybe I thought he was kind of dead. Yeah, I fully agree with you. If this motherfucker comes back again,
that's just lazy.
It's the biggest comeback in the history because he's laying there and he starts talking to the kid. And he's like, "Hey, I know you're there." You know, like, and he says whatever the fuck he said. But then
he said, that was the other part where, you know, he's obviously this guy's a monster. I'm not trying to say he's not a monster, but it's weird to me that Rin tells him like, oh, he's going to kill you. Like, he's going to betray you. And when he knows he's there, the first thing he says to this kid is like, listen, man, I'm sorry I couldn't avenge your dad. He tells the kid, good work, and I'm sorry I can't avenge your dad. I don't know why he's got a soft spot for Renzo, but it seems like he does.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to give him some saving qualities, it's like, fam, you can't humanize this man.
I don't know what it was that. I think he was just trying to, like, this was supposed to be like probably his protege because of what he lost. And pretty much he has the same probably bloodlust to try to kill them that he had at that point.
And then
something I can think of.
He gets eaten by wolves.
That was a very matter-of-fact way to put that, but it's true. He does. Yeah, he's like...
I was happy with that. I was cool with that.
I was cool with it, too. They tore his flesh they ate him like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Like groceries.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Woo!
You know, that reminded me of what's the name? Kev on Stage's dad joke when he laughs so hard at his own joke. Everybody else is just like, all right, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah. But yeah, he does get eaten up by the wolves, and it turns out he does feel that pain because he's like, oh, I do feel something, and it's not good. Yeah. But that's a wrap. It seems like on Shira as he gets ripped apart by these wolves, which is a fitting end considering he ate that dog when we first met him. Only makes sense that he, I guess, would then be eaten by dogs.
So you didn't watch the after credits on this one?
No.
What
happened?
So he's so it cuts to, and he's actually pretty much damn near bone, if not all bone, and he pretty much tells what's his name?
Okay, sorry.
The boy. What's the boy's name?
Whatever.
Renzo.
He tells Renzo, he said, look, man, this is not in you. Like, you're not a killer. You couldn't handle the business when it was time for you to handle the dirt, and just, you know, don't do any of this stuff. Pretty much give up revenge, bro. Then he goes, the last thing I'm going to say is, don't listen to anything or believe anything I just said right now. So pretty much go kill, go get revenge.
Yeah.
And then it cuts off.
I hate this show.
And that's it.
Start off. Go ahead, Brennan.
I hate this show. Yeah, I mean, this might be the best stretch.
The parts you watch, you hate.
Yeah, you probably didn't watch this whole.
I watched it. This might be the best stretch of episodes thus far, which isn't really saying too much.
I feel like we've said that like 3 times in a row.
We have definitely said that a few times.
So I guess the show's incrementally getting better. It's like you're starting from literally absolute basement, and you're still just on this first or second step up from there. You know, I don't really have anything. I'm just going to say 5,200. I don't care. I don't like this show.
Okay. I'm intrigued to see. I feel like you don't like the show because it's not doing with things that you want, and that it's so gory and violent. Just like, I don't like the fact that people are dying this way. And
I'm okay with gore and violence. I'm okay with gore and violence.
You said in the past few episodes that you just like, you don't like
I like gore and violence with context. Like, for example, like The Raid Redemption is like one of my favorite movies ever. It's one of the most gory movies of all time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love that shit. You know, but this show is just, it's like, I'm okay with gore. Like, I don't even watch horror movies, but I'll watch like Saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay with gore. Gore is not something that makes me go, ugh. It doesn't. But when it's just like, there's no fucking reason for it. There's no context. It was, for me, it's just like out the gate, I was like, this is dumb. And so I didn't want to think it was dumb. And maybe I was in a weird mood that day. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that fuck this show because I don't like it. And I'm just not into it. Like, you're right. I am watching it and I'm giving it most of my full attention. But I'm just like not happy to be here. Every time I'm watching it, I'm just like, don't want to show up.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, he's not saying much else.
No, I ain't got shit for you.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out what it is about this show why I don't like it, because I don't, but it's got a lot of elements of other shows that I do like. There's a lot of characters, a sprawling story, a big world, but it's just presented in a way that has prevented me from caring about it.
Shit.
Rob, can I stop you for 1 second? There's one thing I want to say. This show is mislabeled as a name. It is called the Immortal Blade. It is not about that. It's about the Itaryu. And it's about that. It is not about this motherfucker Manji. It's about the Itaryu. That's what the entire show is circled around, and they have gone the most roundabout way of telling us that in the fucking world. Please continue, Rob.
It's called Immortal, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially the point I'm trying to get to is I don't really know what the show's about. I don't care about any of the characters because I don't know what any of them want, except maybe Kagehisa. And to me, he's the one character that I'm like, all right, I can kind of get behind what he's doing because at least I understand why he's doing the thing that he's doing. Rin, I don't know where her head's at these days. I don't know what her journey is at this point. I don't know why we're supposed to care about Manji and his overall mission when he seems to care so little about it. I don't. This show just is. It seems to be a lot of missed opportunities and missed promises. I just feel like it could have been something good. And from what I understand, there is a manga out there or another version of the show where they told the story a little differently, where maybe they would explain these things a little better. Maybe if I watched the after credit sequences, it would be a totally different story. I don't know, but I feel like I'm just missing a huge part of the puzzle. And I don't care about these characters. I'm not really sure why I should give a shit about any of them living to the end of this. And 4,800.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not saying I'm the most on top of it when it comes to watching episodes. Like, sometimes I do cram. There's been times where I've literally watched the episode 5 minutes before we do the power up. But I have zero desire to watch this show. And I always watch it damn near at the last second, just because, one, I want to retain it. Because if I watch it any earlier than right before we start, I'm not gonna remember anything because this show is I don't give a fuck that much. And then two, it's just so much going on, but nothing at the same time. I don't care about the characters. I don't care about the story. Manji still takes the cake as the worst protagonist there's ever been. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. And I don't think these four episodes coming up are going to change that. And it's just it's so many missed opportunities with this show. And I feel like a lot of what we're saying is on the level of Gangsta. And honestly, if we really being real, I feel like this is this is on the same level as like a Gangsta to me. Like, I feel like this show is not that far away. I know Brennan gave it a 0. I wouldn't give Gangsta a 0.
I never gave it. Did I give it a 0?
You definitely gave it a 0.
You gave it. I don't know if you gave it a 0, but you gave it.
I thought I gave it like a 32.
You gave like a double-digit number or triple.
No, like 32. 32.
Yeah.
No, you didn't mean 3,200. You meant 30. The number 32.
No, 32.
Okay. You gave it to Shaq Diesel. Yeah, this show is damn near Gangsta level to me. Like, if you honestly ask me what would I want to watch again, I'd probably watch Gangsta again before I watch this. 3,000.
Okay.
And then all I would say, that 3,000 all came from the scene, the castle scene. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have gave it a 32 myself.
Okay. I'm trying. Well, I'll say a few things before I get into my stuff. I don't.
What a surprise!
No. Well, here's the thing. Ice's score doesn't make any sense because he gave the last 4 episodes, which were like the worst 4, like a 50-something hundred or something like that. And these are probably the best 4 from which I already
in
said.
your opinion. In your
No. I'm going to what you said. I'm going to what you said.
I feel like we've been saying this. I didn't say that. I said I felt like we've been saying this the past episodes. I didn't say that. I didn't agree with that sentiment. I just said I feel like we've kept saying it these past couple episodes. I never said it's been the best.
I'm saying
what
you
I say.
Said. Y'all been saying, y'all literally said the last 4 episodes are some of the best 4 episodes out of this whole stretch that we watched so far.
But
all of a sudden...
Brennan said that. I said that I feel like we've been saying that consecutively.
No. That's before this episode. I'm talking about last episode when we actually watched the 4. You said that those 4 were some of the best. And I was like, and that's when I was like, those are some of the worst to me. And y'all were like, what? That's why y'all were like, how did you get that at such a low score? And I was like, because that shit was terrible. It was literally 3 episodes that they could have cut to probably 1 and made that whatever.
They definitely
that's what I'm saying. And then I guess going back to what Brendan said, he doesn't know what like stuff is about. The title, I'm not gonna argue the title being what it should be. But from the beginning, they set a goal that said it's supposed to be about the Ida-Ryu. That's what it's been about. I mean, they're going about it different ways, but that's literally what it's been about. I think the reason why I think Ren's goal is pretty much like I want to save this dude for myself. He's the entree, and I'm the one to kill him. That's why I keep saving him, and I have a way that I want to kill him and how I want to do it. So that's just the way it's going to happen. Now, for these stretches of 4, to me, these were the best stretch of 4 episodes, in my personal opinion, since the first 4. The first 4 I really liked, and then these 4, I was like, finally about that action. We got some fight. These 4 were about action.
Hey, let him talk, Ice. Let him.
These 4 episodes had the most action throughout the whole anime.
Which is not saying much.
I'm not going to argue with you with that, but it's still the most out of this anime. And so it gave me what I wanted these for. It gave me, I enjoy watching these 4, and I want to see the last 4 to see how this pretty much this pile of shit war is going to end up into.
7,800.
Hell no. But actually, my score is a 6,500.
Oh my God.
6,500.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. Well, there we have it.
So I mean, my scores are pretty much been
here.
Yeah. Like a stock market, just fucking
pretty
zigzagging.
Dropped 1,800 points today.
Yikes.
Yeah, I saw that because I have some stock, and I almost threw my phone.
Yeah, I didn't check in today. I knew it was going to be a bad one.
I looked at it, and I was
as soon as you said that, I was like to open up my app. Like,
don't do it, Brennan.
Don't do it.
Because on Monday, it was on fire, bro. I was
When I looked at it, I'm like, I see why people jump off of buildings. I get it.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. I definitely wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't either. But I'm like, I only lost like maybe 1,500. But I was just like, people see they open a whatever up and see millions, hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. But I mean, that you had that in the first place is like,
I would say don't.
But
invest,
sometimes
don't
that's not your
lose.
money. That's not your money though. Sometimes like if you got a hedge fund. That ain't your money. Like,
that's how people get in trouble. That's how people get in trouble. They'll borrow money to make investments.
Exactly. But these same people, it's just like, yo, it's not like they're like, oh, how am I going to eat dinner tonight? It's like, you're going to survive. You're just not going to have the lifestyle you're used to. Either way, that's a whole different conversation. It doesn't do with anime.
But yeah.
I'd much rather have that conversation than...
but this is saying to Ice is saying, if somebody said they'll watch Gangsta over this, the reason why I don't argue with Ice on that point, because when you have it down to 12 episodes, it'll be easier to watch 12 episodes than to watch 24 of whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I actually watched the 13 episodes of Blaze of Immortal, and it pretty much it ends like at like how episode 13 ends on this one. So it doesn't get to a finishing point. So I think that's why they redid it, was because they never finished it the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and what I read about the manga, just to wrap this up, what I read about the manga, pretty much what they said was the reason why some people that were the manga readers were upset about it was because it didn't follow it. Just like most people, when it doesn't follow the manga, they get upset that it doesn't follow the manga. That's it.
Y'all ever notice how many times Keenan repeats himself when he talks?
That's the comedian part.
What did I repeat the manga part?
You're like, people about the manga was upset about, but if you understand, like the people with the manga was upset about, but what they was upset about was, you said
That's
like four times.
when comedians do that. That's something I noticed too.
It's a Chris Rock thing. Is to make sure there's clarity. You say it 3 times to make sure it's clarity.
Got it. It was really funny.
Well, Brendan, go fuck yourself.
Cause you's a bitch.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Y'all got to stop this ball on ball crime, man. Like this shit is.
Man, can we end this episode, please?
This is hurting my heart.
Brendan, you act like you actually watching this shit, so I don't care what you think anymore. Like you're not even watching the full episode. You're going to Rob for the recap, or you're watching the recaps online, seeing what the dudes say online, and then you're just going past it and then whatever.
I don't even think you put that much energy into it.
I honestly wish that I could agree with you and say that's what I did. I might do that for the next 4.
Good luck,
wish I did
Brendan.
do
If you
that.
find the recaps, let me know because I've been having to write these fucking notes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen any recaps.
There's recaps. I mean, there's not many people that did it because I guess maybe because
Because it sucks.
I mean, the recaps that I've seen, they said pretty much what y'all was saying at the beginning, and then they're pretty much saying it got better from they said from 12 into now. I don't agree with that, but I agree from now until if these last 4 finish up.
All right, well,
let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Like I said, the squad is not clearly fucking with it. I think average, my score is still considered not a passing score, maybe barely a passing score. So they don't necessarily mean I'm fucking with it. It's been literally a bipolar review for me. So go ahead, Brendan, drop your stuff.
at Mr. Producer Face on the gram.
Nice.
Ice.McGowan on Instagram.
Rob.
At RV Danger on Instagram.
I'm at Keenan Baker on every single thing. Let us know what y'all score is so far to these 4. And next week will be the last 4 of these.
Thank
I'm sure
God.
these guys are happy. I ain't gonna lie, I'm
Thank
happy
God.
too because 24 or 26, anything above that can be tough when we got other shit we got to be doing out here in these streets. So I get that. But thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Animeshun.
Peace.
And so anime was solved forever.